Howdy, Beefalo Bart here, and welcome. Yes, I know I've already started this project probably about 5 times, but we're going to do it from scratch. This will be episode 1 of the MCO series. I'm calling it that just to abbreviate it, and I will do a separate video just explaining what Motor City Online was, if I haven't covered enough of it already. But it's kind of a tribute game to that with its own bit of flair. For now, everything is going to be done using City Studios assets and with assets of my creation and so forth. So to get started, I'm just going to go ahead and hit launch on the latest version, which is 4.22.3, as you can see here. And we're going to do this. I'll add in my simple multiplayer Steam template. I'll add in the City Studios Polygon City, and we'll end up adding more of those asset packs in. But I wanted to start from scratch so you guys can follow along. And if you want to create this project also, go right ahead. I won't share the files because it's going to contain Cinti assets. At first, though, we're going to start off and just show you what it takes to get going, get rolling, creating a multiplayer game that is going to be car racing based. The reason why I'm starting from scratch again, thank you, living next to an airport, really loud airplane going overhead, is because I think that the reason why I'm having positional issues with the cars is because I created a blank project and then added the vehicle template. So I think that could be part of the issue. Not 100% sure, but I'm thinking that could be part of it. So we're going to let this boot up, and tonight's drink of choice is water. Cold, filtered, and out of a frozen jug from my freezer. Yes, after a certain time, I need to switch to no sugar, blood sugar issues. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and select vehicle as my primary. Okay, and instead of blank like I always do, I'm going to go ahead and select vehicle, and I'm going to go ahead and give this BBG_MCO. And then with that, no starter content, desktop console, maximum quality, everything should be good, and create project. Now it's going to take a few minutes to go ahead and create that initial project, but I think this is going to help a little bit with the multiplayer positional issue that I keep coming up with. And what that problem was is you're driving down the track and the client and the server aren't syncing well together, so you may see the client in a different location than what they're actually in. So when you create it as this, it's going to come up to this default map, discover assets, and I'm always going to just go ahead and start by clicking there. I'm going to delete that because there's no need, because it's going to default to the player start. Here there's already 3, and see, everything's set up. I can just hit play, and immediately I hate this issue. So as I hit play, I still have a mouse cursor. I can't do anything until I left click somewhere and make the mouse cursor go away. So that's going to be the first thing that I'm going to do to get rid of, just because it's going to annoy the living crap out of me, and it's always going to be a problem. I made pretty good progress on the previous version, and I'm going to redo all of those things, or I'll just copy them over. I'm not sure which way I'm going to go just yet on that. But you can see, this is what you get when you first start off with it. And really terrible vehicle. And you see the stuff floating in the air for the speed and gear. I don't really like that. But if we were to go to play, 2 players, new pie window. Now I'm going to take the server and I'm going to drag it off to a different monitor. Just so we can see what's happened here is the client spawned in the ground is what it looks like, but it actually spawned at the same location that the server did. So I'm going to hit play again, nothing, play again, there. Finally, they spawn in different locations. So as the client, I can see the server, which is right there to my right, and I can hit him and affect him a little bit. So I'm going to drive around a little bit as the client just to see what happens. And if I don't see a significant improvement, then I'll just say to hell with it and go back to what I was doing before. Wow, look at that jerky movement of the back end. So I'm going to come over here and try to stop close to one of these pieces here. Now I'm going to switch over to the server. You won't see me actually driving as that, but it looks like the positioning is pretty good right now. Alright, the server sees it correctly. And I will go ahead and slide that over here so you can see everything looks pretty good. Don't know how well that's going to stay, but we'll see. So I'm going to switch this back to 1 and select a viewport. So let's go ahead and take care of a few things here in content. The first thing I'm going to want to do is create my folders that I'm going to need. And the first one I'm going to need is an assets folder. I'm going to need another one, which is going to be called maps. I'm going to need another one that's going to be called well, actually we'll skip that one for right now. No, let's call this one character, which that's going to be a problem later on. That's going to be a problem later on, and that's going to be a problem later on for migrating my other stuff over. But I guess for now, let's go ahead and not use those. Now I'm going to go ahead and keep them for now. I'll just migrate it over and merge the stuff in. So for character wise, the first thing I'm going to want to do is find the actual blueprint for the sedan, and I'm going to left click, drag, and actually before I do that, go in here and we're going to need a new folder in here called animations. We're going to need another one called blueprints. And we'll need more later, but let's go ahead and stick with that for now. Go with the sedan, left click, drag it, and we want to... Why aren't you open, you crackhead? Drag it into the blueprints folder and copy here. And I'm going to go ahead and rename this to player_car. And I'm going to go into it. And as with any new project, I'm going to go in here to editor preferences and immediately change asset editor open location to main window. And I'm going to go to loading and saving, and I'm going to disable autosave. Why? Because you are the only person that can control that. And we're going to change our default vehicle to our player_car. Save all, save selected. Now if we hit play, it's still going to have the mouse cursor, but we now have control. We can drive, we can do all our cool things. So the first thing I want to do is locate the begin play, and let's go ahead and make this look a little bit nicer. I'm not going to use VR, so input action VR, we're going to delete that entire bit there. Then we don't need that, and we don't need that. And let's see if we've broken anything in particular. Is there anything else that is VR related? Don't think so, but I will see as we go. So now that's killed the external stuff there. It no longer works. But let's actually do the interior view. It still works, and that's all good. All right, so I'm sure that the setup in cars, update HUD strings. These are all. There's something that's going to be an issue with that later, why it's not showing the external, but I don't care. We're going to set up our own individual HUD. So we've got our begin play. We're going to change this to, say, begin play for our comment info. And we're enabling in-car view. That's fine. But we need to do a few more things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and create a custom event. Remove cursor. And this is going to be done on event begin play, but I'm just going to condense it by making my own custom event here. And we're going to set input to game only. And we're going to get player controller. And then we're going to set show mouse cursor and leave it unchecked, so it gets rid of that mouse cursor, so I don't have that issue anymore. If you don't have that issue, be lucky. But now, why did I do that? Okay, because now we need to come in here and remove cursor, add that custom event into the event begin play. And now we no longer have the mouse cursor, and there we go. That's delightful. Alright, so I'm just going to comment this out and say remove cursor. I'll start cleaning up the blueprint a little bit at a time, because you can see we have everything in commented sections here, and it just looks all jumbled. So what we'll end up doing later on is giving them different colors, and we'll also set it up to where anything that's for view related is here, control related is in a line together. They're all different colors, so they're easier to say, okay, you know, like if you're doing a shooter and you're calculating damage, you want damage in red. You want everything quick and easy to know what's where, so you can go right to it. But for now, I'm not worried about it. Toggle camera, that's fine. Now these are all done on input actions, which means that they're bound keys, and I don't usually like doing it that way, but it's entirely up to you. Just neatening up things a little bit here. So let's go ahead and, since this is a thing, let's go ahead and save that, close that, and we want to go ahead and bring in the next part, which is going to be the Cindy Studios Polygon City. And all I'm going to do is scroll down, a lot of stuff here, so go to Polygon City, add to project, find the project, BBG MCO, add to project, and it is going to take just a few moments, and it'll be ready to rock and roll. So with, you can see down here that it was still green. So let's actually go into the demonstration map. There's two. The latest, newer versions of this actually have a demonstration and demonstration evening. So I'm going to go into demonstration evening. It's going to take a minute to compile shaders and stuff. Kind of like it. It's a little bit darker. It's not as bright and sunny. Now, it's not going to have a game mode. Look at that. It's raining. A little bit darker. Got like the ambulance there has got lights on. There's actual lighting effects going on. It's actually pretty cool. But one of the things I'm going to do is start getting rid of vehicles and things like that, so that we can actually I don't know. We'll see after the shaders compile how bright or how dark this is. There's some fog going on. It's got a different sky. A little bit bright on the sky texture. Not worried about the sunlight right now. I just want to see what this looks like. If you haven't seen the evening version of this map, it's kind of cool to check out. What I will do is put it in... Oh, I don't have third person. I don't have anything. I just have vehicle. And there's no player start at all. So what I'll do is... I'll just come over here. We'll want all these cars gone because it's going to make it difficult to negotiate the path around. So I'm just going to drop in a player start here and rotate it around. Game mode to vehicle game mode. So we're already on our player car, just about done with our shaders. So at least we'll be able to move around and look at things. I'm used to having my simple multiplayer Steam template already installed into a project and already having a character and being able to walk around and do things. I'm not going to add third person to this just so I can have a character to walk around, because once I add the simple multiplayer Steam template, it'll already have that stuff in there already, and then I'll just retarget that so we'll have an actual physical character to walk around. And at some point, once we have an established character into a character creation system and so forth, then we'll want to, when we're in the track driving around racing somewhere, then we will want to have our player character actually socketed inside the vehicle. So our character, however we have him or her set up, will actually be in our vehicle. So we can actually, if somebody else looks at us through the window, they can see what we look like. It's a small feature, but something worth noting and worth doing. Oh, come on, shaders. You're killing me. I changed maps, but then I'd have to... it'll still keep doing this, and then I'll have to do it again for the new map. But I just wanted to see what it looked like before we start targeting. And while we're waiting for it, in our mesh folder, vehicles rigged, we're going to have an ambulance, we're going to have a 4-door compact car, we're going to have the Camaro looking car, police car, Crown Vic looking car, 2-door sport compact, taxi cab, and a regular van. So that's the only vehicles we're going to have in this particular asset pack. But however, we can also change the materials on them, so we can change the color of the vehicles. Kind of a cool thing. That'll also be able to be set up as a paint job system when you're buying your cars. But what I'll end up doing probably is setting the starter car to be, we'll say like the 2-door sport compact. You start off with or a 4-door sport compact or whatever. You'll start off with a kind of a junk car, and then as you progress through the game, you can unlock parts and buy parts that'll actually improve the quality of your vehicle, and so forth. Alright, so we're just about done with our shaders. Then we'll actually take a peek around here. Lighting needs to be rebuilt. Come on, Cinti. Alright, so this is it. I think I'll probably go with the other map just for the sake of it. And for right now, with the other version, we were actually using the spline mesh editor for creating tracks. That will be a thing that will be added. And we will change our vehicle next. So we actually have a playable vehicle. Yeah, so you're not going to be able to drive around much. With all these cars in the map, it's just going to be one of those things. So let's go back to our City Studios Maps folder. Go to our demonstration. I'm not worried about saving anything. So since we've already compiled our shaders, then we're okay. But essentially the same thing. We're going to have a problem with all these cars in here. And as much as I love Cinti, they kind of haven't listened to one thing that I keep preaching about. And whoever's doing their maps needs to go ahead and associate things with, like, create folder, map, shit. And putting stuff like light sources, post-processing, sky sphere, skylight, that kind of stuff into a separate map shit folder. Another one we'll save for effects, for stuff like the steam here. We'll go in there. Another folder for buildings, props, things of that nature. So when you're scrolling through here, you're trying to find something. It is so difficult to find anything because everything is all in the root and it's not separated by folders. Now, I'm not going to sit here and make you wait as I go through and do all these, but I'll just kind of show you an example. I'm going to scroll all the way through these apartments here. You see how many of them are here. You're going to have to scroll through all this crap to get the stuff because they're not sorted. So I'm going to shift left click now on this, and then I'm going to right click anywhere there, and I'm going to say move to buildings. So now I've just dumped all those into a separate folder, and now I can minimize it and I can keep looking through all the rest of the stuff. So I'm going to go to the vehicles here, which I knew were going to be at the bottom of the list. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to scroll up until I get done with all where I see vehicle car, and select here, and I'm going to hit delete. I'm going to get rid of all the cars off the streets, and I'm going to get rid of the hot dog cart because the scaling on that is a little bit off. It's not quite right. What's happening, brother? So now we're going to use this city as our first sample track, and as I'm doing this, I don't want to save this. So what I'm going to do is I've already created a maps folder, so I want to save this into my maps folder, which I swear I thought I set up. Okay, I guess not. Maps. So what I'll do here, instead of save all, I'm going to save current. And yeah, I'm restarting this project because I think that what are you doing? Okay, we'll go here, file, save current as. Go to the maps folder and call this demo, or we'll call this city track. I think the positional issues that I was having was based on the fact that I didn't start the project as a vehicle template, and I think that may have had something to do with the positional issues. So that's why I went ahead and did that. So we need a player start. So for right now, I'm just going to grab a player start, throw it in here, rotate it around 90, and let's change our game mode override to vehicle game and hit play. So now the next thing we're going to do is retarget the vehicle so that we can actually put the Cinti vehicle in here. And what I'm going to do, instead of actually adding the advanced vehicle template in here, is I will actually open up a separate project that I already have this done in, and I can copy and paste. So I'll have two projects open at one time. So now we actually can drive around the city. We don't have to worry about driving over things and cars getting in the way and that kind of stuff. And since, Cinti's demonstration map is not going to be something that I would keep as a long term, if I was going to release my own game, I wouldn't have their demo maps as, my track. But, as you notice also, we have the oops factor of, hey, now we can drive on water. This will be something we'll fix with our respawn system, and instead of a blocking volume, we want the car to actually go in, hit the water, go into the water, and then explode and respawn you at your last known checkpoint. So we don't want players being able to get out here and drive around in the water. If you do get stuck out here in the water, we want you to be like this. We want you dead. We're going to kill you. So we hit play, escape. Alright, so setting up and retargeting a Cindy Studios vehicle, I have shown this before. It is not that difficult. It does take a little bit of fiddling, but what we're going to do here is go to our vehicles, sedan, and you can see we've got an animation blueprint. We're going to use that, and we're also going to go to our sedan skeleton, and if you open that up, you'll notice that you've got your naming convention for your tires here inside the skeleton, and you have your sedan, your vehicle base, and all this stuff right here, and retargeting manager. If you don't have a retargeting manager, just click that button and this will pop up. You see there is no rig set up at all. So what we're going to do here is we're going to right click on our sedan skeleton and we're going to create a rig, and then we're going to select OK, and then I'm going to rename it. Instead of sedan, we're just going to call this car skeleton rig. So now we actually have a rig for this. We can go back into our sedan skeleton, change it to, we're not going to select humanoid rig, we're not going to select this rig here, and we're going to go ahead and hit save. So this is good to go. Now, the next thing we want to do here is go to vehicles rigged, and whatever car we want to start off with. I always use the muscle car, but let's use the this guy. It's this one. We want our first car to be kind of junky. So what about the 4-door compact or car medium? So this is kind of our car. We're simulating that this is going to be our first car we ever buy. I think the first one, actually, if you remember from the Polygon Battle Royale pack, that little yellow sedan with that crappy paint job, I think that would be the perfect one. Which I'll probably end up doing that later, just for the sake of it. But for now, let's go ahead and show how to do this. The multiplayer issues that I was having was positional. And see, I've just got one player start here. And what was happening was, by creating a blank project and then adding the vehicle template to that, what was happening was the client drives around a little bit and the position gets screwed up. So we'll do new pie window, and I'm going to take the server and put it off screen for just a moment. And this is something that I'm going to have to address later on. The reason why the client is screwed up right now is because for some reason they're trying to spawn at the same location. There we go. So client, I can drive around as a client, and you can see the movement's a little bit jerky. But we're going to take our car and we're going to drive down this road here, and we're going to park right next to this steam. And now we're going to grab our client, or server rather, and we're going to drive around town, and we're going to go over and meet up with that vehicle. I know you can't see what I'm doing because I'm driving the server on a different monitor. But I know that I need to come up here and make a right, going a different path, just simply because I want to have different inputs going in. We're not matching the same thing. And there we go. So it seems to be more stable multiplayer wise. So you can see the okay, I mean, camera issues, that's easy enough to work with. You can see the positioning seems to be better here. So we're going to go ahead and hit escape, change it back to one player. The camera, you talking about like in this or just in general? Because right now this is kind of like a third-person cam. You hit the tab key and go to the in-car view. When you start adding more cameras to a player character, you have to remember that whatever you want to be your default camera, if this is going to be your default camera, then that's fine. But whenever you add a second camera or a third camera or fourth camera in, you need to make sure that you don't have them set to auto activate. And by that, our character blueprints or player car, the internal camera is not automatic. So you can see auto activate right here. That's unchecked because you don't want both cameras on at the same time. Primary camera will auto activate. All additional cameras do not have that auto activate selected, and it'll solve a lot of issues. So finish up with retargeting our vehicle here. Vehicle's rigged, so we wanted to use the 4-door car, which was medium, this guy right here. So we're going to go to the skeleton for it, and we're going to select the rig, which is going to be car skeleton rig. Now we need to match this up. So sedan skeletal mesh is going to be our car medium. Oh, not a problem. Wheel front left. So now we need to grab this right here, and for front left it's FL. Front right, you can find FR. Rear right, RR. And rear left, VRL. Now, another thing that I've noticed you have to do is apply to asset, because that's not checked on Polygon City for some reason. And you also want to hit modify pose and use current pose. Otherwise, when you go to retarget it, it's going to be frickin' sideways. You hast been warned. So now, that should be good to go for retargeting. So what we'll do here is in our character folder, I'm going to go ahead and create a new folder called, and I swear I thought I made these already, animations. We'll go back to our sedan. We have our animation blueprint here. So I'm going to right click on that and retarget animation blueprint. I'm going to select our car here, and I'm going to replace sedan with 4D for 4-door underscore compact. Then I'm going to hit change and change the location to this folder. Everything looks good there, and then we can hit retarget. So there is our new animation blueprint. So that's good. Next, we're going to have to change a few things. So as soon as this finishes saving here, go back to our player car. And what's going to happen here is, see, there's our toggle camera. Yeah. But that's default here. So we're going to go to our viewport, scroll out, and we're going to go to our mesh. Change this mesh over to vehicle car mini. There we go. Animation class will now be our 4-door compact, and we're going to hit compile and save. Now the car looks good, everything looks fine, but it's not going to work just yet. So if I hit play, you can see the car is kind of rocking, and I'm trying to go forward, but I'm going backwards. It's because we need to fix the wheel placement. So we're going to go to vehicle movement, and under vehicle setup, no, I always look in the wrong damn place. And if you can't find it right off, just come up here to the search and type in WH to start typing in wheel. So it's under vehicle setups, wheel setups. So I want to actually find it from here. So, no, we don't want to say transmission. Vehicle setup. So it would have been like this. We just need to hit that, and we can see now our wheel bone names are going to be wrong. So what we're going to have to do here is, instead of wheel underscore front underscore left, we need to bring up our skeleton for the vehicle, which is this guy. Look at our skeleton tree, and let's start copying them over. So the first one we need is going to be front left. So I'm going to come over here to front wheel underscore FL. I'm going to select it and then right click on it and copy selected bone names. Go back to here, click in this box for the bone name, and Control V, and it's going to paste that in there. Oh, well, thanks for stopping by, bud. Yeah, just stop on my Discord if you have other questions too, and whenever I get around to getting to them, I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. Front right. Copy selected bone names. Control V. Next one's rear left. Copy selected bone names. And rear right is going to be our final one. And that should take care of the issue to where we can now drive. Like so. Now we have a car. We can drive around. Our Subaru-ish, four-door sport compact, whatever you want to call them. So next thing I want to do is I want to move that camera back a little bit. The outside camera. And all I'm going to do is just bring it back just a wee bit. Take a look at it, see how it looks. It's a little better. We can see more of the back of the car. You can position the camera wherever you want to. I like it here. So let's hit tab and see how it looks. Ooh, the inside camera's way off. So let's go inside our vehicle. Yeah, we can see right there our internal camera. Let's go ahead and raise it up. Tab. That's a little better. Now we can see. And we don't have the sound. That's because I have not copied that over. Don't necessarily want to add the advanced vehicle setup in here. I'm going to start trying to clean up some of what I'm doing so I have less files in here. Ooh. We crashed. So to minimize all that, instead of actually opening up a different, adding that in here, what I want to do is I want the sound. So I'm going to go into here and I'm going to create a new folder called Assets. Go in here, create a new folder called Audio. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up that other project. So yes, I'll have two versions of Unreal Engine 4 open at the same time. And it's going to take a minute to get that open, so there we go. Now, what I can do is I've got this audio here. Not worried about those right now. Under the advanced vehicle advanced sound, we've got all these right here, and let's actually take a look at the queue. They're only using the 3 sounds here, even though there's more. We're going to recreate that. So what I'll do is I'll grab these right here, and let's see if it will let me just drag them and drop them in here. Will you let me? I'm just trying to drag them directly into here, and no, it's not doing it. So what I can do is instead of trying to drag them directly from project to project is I will come over here to my File Explorer, and I will go to the individual project itself. And this one is called BBG Cars. And what I'm looking for is in the content folder, Vehicle Advanced. Sorry, got to show you what I'm doing here. So, content folder, Vehicle Advanced, Sound. Now, these files are right here. They're UAsset files. I can't drag them directly into my project that way. But what I can do is, let's see, let's go. Of course, you're not going to show me because I need to refresh. Way too many projects. Now it'll show up. So this is the current project that I'm working on right now. So I can go to my content folder and assets and audio. And this is where I want them. So now I can take these sounds here. Don't really recommend doing this often, but this does work. So I'm going to right click on this and I am going to copy it to there. And as you can see, they're there. So I'm going to keep this project able to be accessed. But what I've done there is now I've got that. So what I'll do here is I'll create sounds Q engine sounds underscore Q. Actually, the other one is called engine underscore loop underscore Q. Gonna open that up, and as much as I like having them up there, I'm just gonna bring this down to minimize it. I'm gonna actually grab all of these and just do this and drag it in here. So now I can drag this back up here. So now I've got all of these. They were actually only using 1, 3, and 5 if I'm not mistaken. But I'm going to use all of them. I'm going to move this up to here, and I'm going to create a random. Actually, no, how did they actually do their cue? Continuous modulator and crossfade by parameter. Okay, so what they're doing with that is continuous modulator for each of them. So we'll do Control C, Control V, start connecting them in, and I'll need them up here in just a second. Need one more. Alright, so naturally they're not going to want to look pretty for me, so I don't care. We're just going to do it like that. And then from there, I don't have my sound attenuation yet. I will go ahead and let's go ahead and do that. We'll create sound attenuation, close. That's good. That's good. I'm not going to change anything on it right now. And they're also using a crossfade by parameter. Now it's only got 2 pins on it, but we're going to need more. So we'll do add input. And that will be that. Output will go directly into here. And we want to use attenuation settings close. And that should be good enough for our engine loop cue. Next thing we need to do is inside of our vehicle, add a component, audio, engine sounds, and what we're going to use for the sound is our engine loop cue. It's already got its own attenuation, so we don't have to worry about that. to actually add the audio to our vehicle. And what I'm going to do is open up my player character from the other project. I know you can't see what I'm doing because I'm on a different one, but in our player car, what we're looking for is, you can see we've already got engine sound. It's no S on the end. So I'm just going to leave it like that. Come over here, and this was done off of the event tick. So I'm going to copy this over. It's going to have a few errors, which will be easy enough to fix. So I'm just going to Control C on that. You can see it's run off the event tick and a sequence node. So that's what we'll do here is we will go to our event tick. Under update right there. And we're going to add we're going to go ahead and Control V so we can paste that in. And we're going to go ahead and interrupt this with a sequence. We're going to connect that to there. We're going to hit compile and save. And since we had everything else named the same, that should now work. Wow, that's terrible. I think it's going to have to do with our actual engine loop queue and maybe why they actually removed some of theirs. So I'm going to look at their engine loop queue and I'm just going to copy it exactly as theirs is. They're using 1, 3, and 5. So I'm going to take 2, 4, and 6, delete them. Same thing with their modulators, and I'm going to make it simple, and I'm just going to delete that and redo that, add one input, and it will be just like theirs. I think what was happening is it's just too many sounds were there and there wasn't enough still not quite right. Let's see here. Continuous modulator. You know, all else fails. You can go back, and I'm going to force delete. It's going to rip it out of my player, and it would have closed my blueprint anyway, so I'm not so much worried about it. I'm going to see if I can copy over this engine loop queue. It's going to break. And the reason why it's going to break is because the location of these are in a different location. So now we just need to do 1, 3, and 5, which is the same. And obviously I've done something different because, you know, it's not working better. We'll go back in here and we'll go to our engine sound and reselect our engine loop queue and compost and save. And there we go. So now we have sound. And turbo driving vehicle. No, you can't knock over these poles because they have cable actors. They don't have cable actors attached to them. They just have, you know, pre-made static meshes for the power lines. It looks nice, and for looks-wise, I would say leave it. because it would be much more complicated to say, oh, if I hit this pole right here, how are those static mesh actors going to work? You'd have to make them go away, or you'd have to replace them all with cable actors, and yeah, it's all doable, but you kind of have to weigh what's best overall. Yay! Alright, so that's that. We have a drivable car. We have the ability to drive around and get that going. When it comes to the other project, I'm going to leave it up, and I will be copying more stuff in. Now, what I would like to do with this project, for everybody who wants to do anything with it, or make suggestions, or jump in and actually make stuff for the project, let me know in Discord what you want to see in here, and that kind of stuff. Now, like this right here, as much as I hate doing this, go to details, I'm going to go to here, I'm going to open it up, and as much as I would hate to do this on a lot of things, I want this able to be, you get stuck if you drive into it. Right now, it has a, the collision is not going to let you drop into it. So in lieu of creating a custom collision for it, I'm just going to change the project default. Use complex as simple. There's only a couple of those in the map, so it's not going to be that detrimental. And right now, also, things like the traffic cones, they don't move if you hit them. They're solid as hell. So things like that, see, now I can get stuck in there and will force me to need to reset. But that's not a problem. We can fix that later. As soon as we start doing things like with the other project, I have it set up to where the track itself has a checkpoint system. And what I set up in the previous one was with that, and let's actually go ahead and make this one full screen, and I'll go to that map. The test track, you see you have the start finish line, and you also have checkpoints. And the way this one actually works is in order. You see your current lap number is set to 0 because you haven't completed any laps yet. This previous project was done with a spline mesh. See, we had a little bit of a sound there, so that we just completed a checkpoint. We have a speed strip. We have brake lights that come on whenever you hit your handbrake. This car is set to rear-wheel drive. What I'll do is I'll change our Sport Compact car to default as a front-wheel drive car. But we'll just drive around one lap here. If you watch the other videos on this series, you'll know what I'm talking about here. So you actually have to complete all the checkpoints. And it's not 100% bulletproof. I'm going to change it a little bit. But what can happen is if you just say, okay, when I pass through this, it just changed to lap number 1. What's to change you from going over here and saying, hey, screw you, I'm not going to do the whole track. I'm just going to sit here and drive back and forth over the start-finish line. Oh. I had to respawn because I got stuck. So, yeah, we created a way of preventing you from completing this. It sets the number of checkpoints that you've completed, and it checks to see if you've completed all 12. But because that setup was to say I can't run back and forth between here 12 times, you hear this little fizzle sound. But it's going to check to see if I've completed 12 checkpoints, which is the number of checkpoints that's on this map. That's the only way that it checked. So we'll come up with a different way of testing that. Because right now I can sit here. Now it's taking me a while to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Hell, I might as well have driven the friggin' track and done it legit. But what's to keep me from running through this checkpoint 12 times and then running back through here? Wrong way, stupid. See, I didn't complete the entire track and I still gained a lap. So at the end of 3 laps or 5 laps or whatever we set on it, the victory condition. So now I can cheat still by running this checkpoint 12 times. So I will fix that for the other project. It will do basically the same deal. What I had done was created these checkpoints out of just a mesh and a cube and some text. Very simple. Alright, so we're close to the 1 hour mark. I want to keep these videos at the 1 hour mark for everything. What we've accomplished in this video is we have got the City Studios Polygon City pack installed. We've got a working car from that pack that we can drive around with sound. So yeah, I mean, we've got the basic setup done here. So in future videos, we'll go back and we'll revisit the track system, the lap system, the checkpoint system, and create those. Now, another thing we can do is, since we have, for a demo map, we're going to use the city environment. You see it goes all around, and you got water you can fall into and that kind of stuff. We'll set up a respawn system, an auto respawn if you go into the water, instead of a system that will actually block you from going in the water. We're just going to have an event handling system that's going to say, okay, you've just fallen in the water. This is what's going to happen to you now. So what we can do is, say, maybe make this the start line. You start here, come up, make a right, drive around, either go left or go right here, and set up a path of where we want our track to actually go. And from that, we'll initiate not just a series of checkpoints, but if we know that we're not going to go through this area right here, then we can position things in there that will actually prevent you from going through. So we'll put blocks in, that kind of stuff. We'll force the player on a dedicated path, which I hate for most games, but for a racing game, you have to do it to prevent cheating. So what we'll end up doing is we'll create a track system. We'll create some way of guiding the player around, whether it's a billboard with arrows on it, or overturned vehicles, boxes, traffic cars blocked there, a couple police cars blocking the intersection, whatever. We'll create a very noticeable way of, okay, you must turn here and go this direction, and guide the player around so that we can force them to actually do what we want them to do. So if you start here, oh well, you immediately got to turn left, and then you've got to go this way, and then go to the left of that subway entrance, and then come over here, and yeah, that kind of stuff. We'll also do the scenery objects like traffic cones. We'll make those into items that we can just run over and knock them out of the way. Might even put some pedestrians in that we can run over and kill, or what have you. Whatever kind of features you guys want to see, let me know. But we don't want to be stopped dead cold because we ran into a traffic cone. We want that traffic cone to get knocked out of the way. Same thing with that little barricade. Anything that we can run into, other than like the light poles, we want them to stay static, unless we just want to delete them from the frickin' map. We could also create a drag strip. We can start creating some other content and other features, but let me know what you want to see. And I think what I'll do for the next video is actually utilizing these assets here, actually create a drag strip, which will be based on these city streets and sidewalks and grass and what have you, but actually make a multiplayer capable drag strip. Or I guess what I can do between videos is actually go ahead and add in my simple multiplayer Steam template and get it functional in this, and from there we'll be able to compile a version of this and be able to, I'll put it up on itch.io, and we'll start doing versions where we can do a drag race. We'll start adding in a map thing and talk about how to do all that kind of stuff. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and take a break. I have to take care of a few things around the house, and then I will get back to probably doing the simple multiplayer scene template interface so that that part will already be done. I'm not sure why that launch button keeps blinking. That's annoying. Yeah. So, like I said, I'll get the simple multiplayer Steam template in here, get it functional. That way we've got a menu system, we've got a multiplayer connection function, and it'll be Steam based, but we'll change it to where it'll go to this map. We'll make map selection part of the menu. I may or may not enable LAN. You guys got to let me know if you want to see LAN in that for the people who have the template. I just have never needed LAN because, well, I'm always here either playing with myself, by myself, or I'm playing with somebody somewhere else, and therefore I just have not needed the LAN feature for it. And with the way that I was planning on using it with this game setup was getting it to where there's a central lobby system, but there's no chat. But when you connect to a game, you go to a lobby system inside your own game. And this is where I would like to have a dedicated server system set up to where when you go in, you go to a central dedicated server, which would say be this map right here, or a city map, or a town map, where you're actually walking around as a person, not driving your car around, but doing that. And I'd also like features like from Motor City Online that weren't there. There was one feature that you go to a chat channel, and inside that chat channel you would actually see whatever the theme was. It was like Mary Sue's Diner, and outside the diner you had spot for 4 vehicles. And if you were the first person there in that room, or the only person there, you would see, like in a parking slot, your car would be there, whatever car you had selected. You could change your car and it would roll out and drive away, and another car would come in and take its place. So what I would like to do is set up a car show feature, because with the customizable features of the Cindy Studio stuff, say with this player car right here, we can see that it's this lovely blue color, but we can actually change that. We got the glass, which we're not going to modify, but texture 1A, we can go to texture 1B. So we have a different color there. 1C, 2A. So we have different ones that we can actually use. I haven't tried the one that says emissive yet, but so yeah, you can actually change the material, and it'll change the way the car looks. Actually, kind of like that yellow one. Nope, that's green. Where the hell was yellow? There we go. So yeah, that will be part of the vehicle selection. Whenever you're buying your vehicle, we want to have a menu to where the player can actually see the vehicle. And another feature I'd like to do later also is change the license plate. I like to be able to have a custom license plate. So maybe change the material for the license plate itself and make it to where there's nothing there. And when you put in custom letters, you can put whatever you want. So you can have a custom license plate. But that's much later down the line. So I hit save, go in, hit play. So now I'm in that yellow car. So like I said, with the car show feature, once you're able to customize your vehicles and get them all set up and everything else, instead of you being able to drive your car around the lobby, your car would just be parked. And now, as you're in the lobby, you're walking around on foot with your customized character, and you can walk over and check out other people's cars that are parked around town. And with limited numbers of parking spaces, like if you were using this parking space a lot here, you got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15 parking places. Maybe 16 or 17, but 15 parking places, we'll say. So the first 15 cars that are in that room in the lobby would actually have, their car would actually be rolled up in one of those parking places. Or, as another option, you could just set it up like a rotating platform and say somebody's car will roll up and sit there for 30 seconds. It would rotate around 1 or 2 times, and then it would drive off to the side. Just whatever for a car show feature. But yeah, I mean, I would love to have that as part of the game. But again, I will do a separate video just on talking about the features I want to see in this and what the original game was. So, in the video here, I'm going to take a break. I actually have to leave and go out. I know it's like 12:30 at night, but I got to go out and take care of a few things. But I will be back, and the late night stream, I don't know. We may do another one after this. Once I get the multiplayer template put in here, get it functional, and then looking forward to MMORPG. It's not a problem. I started with a MMORPG type deal a while back, and I didn't have enough interest in it. And right now, this is what was gaining interest. Was I was getting a lot of people that saw my videos about never give up. Don't give up. If that's what your dream is, do it. You just have to remember that start simple and work towards your goal. I've got plenty of videos that show other stuff, like getting set up with it. There are assets that you can get that will assist you with that, like the Battle Royale template, things like that. I'm not a Battle Royale fan, but when people kept asking me, I went ahead and started doing videos on that. And yeah, I mean, whatever people want to see is what I try to do. Right now, I've got more interest in the car thing, and that's one that I want to do as well. But God, I got so many freaking assets in here, and this is not all my assets. I've got some that, like a lot of the Cindy Studio stuff, I actually got from their store, so they're actually stored on my hard drive. But Survival Game Kit is really good. You can use something like that. That will help you get started on something like what you're doing. Multiplayer replication, just you have to remember it's slow but not horrible to do. As a example, earlier I was doing the taillights from a video the other day, adding taillights to the car and making them functional with multiplayer. The thing you have to remember is whenever you're doing something like that, it's client server. See, that's the thing is, whenever you're creating something like that, when you're looking at the multiplayer aspect of a MMORPG like that, you have to imagine the player limitations. You're going to have level streaming. You're going to have a lot of different things that are going on in the background to make the map feel more livable. Start small. Start with smaller projects. Don't give up on your dream, ever. Never give up on your damn dreams. Okay? And it's what I tell everybody all the frickin' time, and I get people who don't want to listen to this advice, and they get screwed up over and over and over again, and they can't keep continuing. You got to learn how to crawl before you can stand up. You got to learn how to stand up before you can walk. You got to learn how to walk before you can run. Because if you just go from crawl to run, you're going to bust your ass. You're going to get in trouble. So, even though your goal is to make an MMORPG like GTA 5, okay? don't start with your goal project, because you will see so much failure when you first begin. All right, Jimmy, glad you stopped by. Always welcome to come back and chat. Always encourage people to talk during the videos. So come on, let's just get things going. So don't start with your goal. Don't start with your dream project, because you're going to get let down. You're going to get discouraged. Bad things are going to happen, and it's just going to suck, and you're going to end up wanting to give up, and you can't. So start simple. Start with I already got 2 projects open here, but let's see. I will open up, actually, I don't need to do that. I can actually open up a project that actually I have compiled, and actually not really compiled, but packaged up into a playable format. Okay. I got some. All right, so this one right here is it doesn't have multiplayer stream survival demo. I think did. I don't remember. Well, screw it. Stream party. So this could take a second to pop up on the screen here. So give it a second. But this is actually a project that I've packaged and set it to where it's playable. So this is my simple multiplayer Steam template that I sell for $20, and this is my sole source of income. It's like multiplayer, just host a game, give it a name, make, and this is now multiplayer. Okay, so start simple, start small. Start with like a third-person template where you're running around doing things. Learn the basics and add basic little features in one thing at a time. Like these are very, very simplistic doors here. Okay, I see a big white square in front of room 2. When I step on that, it teleports me into room 2. Okay, I want to go back to the lobby. I see lobby, room 1, room 3, or I can just take the stairs, and it teleports me back in there. Simple teleport system. Easy, something really, really easy to set up. Floating stairs, also easy to set up. A chair takes a little bit of doing, especially if you're going to do it in multiplayer, because whatever you're doing, like sitting in a chair, okay, looks simple. I walk over, I press the E key, and I sit in a chair. How hard is that? Well, if it's single player, then it's no problem. Essentially, what you're doing is to explain the process, then you have to sometimes explain the process to yourself as you're doing it, so you can understand what the problem is you're trying to solve. Can I sit down right now? No, I'm not close enough to the chair to sit down, so why would I sit down? So I have to be close enough. I'm close enough to the chair. Can I sit down now? Yes, I can. So what needs to happen now? I'm facing the chair. I don't want to sit down now because I'll be hovering in the air. So I need my character to turn around, and then I need him to perform the animation for sitting down, and then do the animation of being sitting down, and then whenever I get up, I need to sit down, and now he's doing the sit down animation. Now whenever I can't move because I'm sitting down. If I hit the E key again, I'm saying perform the animation to stand up. And now that I've done that animation, now I can go back to my idle animation system. So you have to break it down into little pieces parts. But just because I can do this, now if the client and server is not, let's go ahead and main menu, exit. If the client and the server are not talking back and forth, the client needs to always be asking permission. So, can I do this? I am going to do this. You're kind of like saying to the client saying, hey, I'm doing this. I don't give a damn if you want me to or not, but I am doing this. Yes, I have way too many projects open. So what I'm going to do is make sure we do a save all, save selected, start closing down some other projects. For right now, I'll come back to these later. That I do need to leave, take care of a few things. So this is it. Let's close down the other one and go back to here. Shit, I closed the wrong damn project. You ever have one of them days where no matter what you do, you can't get anything to work right? So this is the project for the little demo I was just playing. We'll go to lobby map, or is that test map? Which map was that? Nope, it was test map. Yeah. So this is the map here. So if I hit play, I added a video in this version. That's my fat ass shooting a Uzi. The video playing on a TV screen here. But for the sit down thing and thinking about the multiplayer replication, you need to get this kind of stuff learned first. Simple thing of being able to sit down and stand back up. So what happens now if I come back in here and do it in multiplayer and new pie window, and what I'll do is I will resize the windows just a little bit so I can have both on the screen at the same time. Forget what I'm doing here. Don't normally do this because I'm usually working on, well, I'm working with 3 monitors, so I don't need to scale them down like that. You can see the clients and servers see each other as different colors. That was something that I was working on for the client. Alright, so this is the server here. The server, which I still haven't finished yet, the server was going to be a yellow character, so you can discern that they're actually them. What we'll do to get away from that sound right there is we're going to go to the loft. So we'll go upstairs, and there's 2 chairs here, and we'll go ahead and take the client, and poof, we'll go up there. So don't worry about the color differences right there. That's something that I was working on. So we're going to come over here. Even though I'm not facing the chair, I'm still within range so I can sit down. As you see, no problem. Client and server saw it. And there we go. Yeah, so this is something you're going to have to learn early on if you're going to try to make any kind of multiplayer game, is basic multiplayer replication. So you can see they see each other just fine, and there's no problem. We'll go back over here. You can stand up now. And another thing that I was also working on was a no, don't sit down. It was a emote system. See, he's waving. So let's go over here to the server, and same thing, you can do that in mode. What I was doing was setting up a menu to where you could actually change it. You can see the client sees that the server is doing push-ups or face palm, sit-ups. But what I hadn't finished doing was setting it up to where, okay, now I'm doing this. But if the client does it, I wish it was a lot better though. Hit the F key, and if I do this, you can see the difference is he saw waving, but I'm doing a different animation. So it was we're still in the process of fixing all this, getting all that to work, but it showed really quickly what I was talking about with the characters. See, I started recoloring the folders. So like client play emote. We'll look at the chair thing here. Let's see here. Sitting in a chair. This is all the stuff that was required in the blueprint to sit down in a damn chair. So you create the client sit is a custom event. It's run as multicast and reliable. Not everything that you're doing multiplayer needs to be set as reliable. Some things do, some things don't. The variable for being at the chair needs to be replicated. So you're running through a branch node, are you at the chair? And then this is all in the client sit down. We're going to run a flip-flop node so that we can use the E key to sit or stand. I probably should have run that somewhere else, but it's okay, it works. Sit down is also another variable that is replicated. You got chair transform. Essentially, all the stuff for sitting in a chair is nice, but essentially what you're trying to do is whatever you're wanting to perform, create a custom event saying client sit down or whatever it is you want it to do. And then you run through, you create the functionality of what you're trying for them to do. And this is what I want them to do. And during that, I'm telling them to set movement mode to none or walking. That just stops them from moving while they're there. So whatever you want them to do, you create the basic custom event and multicast at least. You don't have to do reliable, but at least do multicast. Create the functionality, and then server is the next part. Create a custom event called server sit that needs to run on server. This particular instance, it needed it to be reliable. Switch has authority, and then whatever this was called is what you put here. So you're saying whenever this series of actions you want to perform, the client now is given authority to do this. So now for me to press the E key, I want to sit down. So then I put this custom event here. Kind of hope that makes sense. Let's actually look at a different project here. I hope that makes sense. Just want a don't care based project open. Whatever, we'll do that one. Just something that get rolling. No, on my simple multiplayer Steam template is based on server client. It's based on whoever's hosting the game becomes the server. Everybody else then becomes a client. Why are you below the ground? I'm not even going to ask here. I don't even know what I was doing with this one. Doing a settings menu? Oh. Yeah, 1920 by 1080 and yeah. I don't even know what I was doing with this project. I have projects that I've created that I have no idea for. See, by doing the host server thing or the host client thing, it allows anybody who has the games that are created with this template. Oh, I remember this project. Damn, I forgot about this one. Was doing a single player based shooter. I hadn't set these guys to shoot yet. Window lookers, man. They'll stay right there in the window and look at you. Oh, the little spinning top thing was a loot box that I created. Had a little hit reaction there, and see whenever they die, they drop this little thing there. And you got scoreboards up on the wall. 16 shots fired, 8 hits, 8 misses, 2 kills. Even had a scope feature. 4 shots, and there we go. So yeah, the kill board there, plus you had your counter up top. And this was a project that, like, the buildings here were actually just BSP geometries that I just made temporary buildings. Even a spread, man. I got pretty far with this project. But this was just something I slapped together. I don't even think I was doing anything multiplayer with this one. But I created a restaurant where you can walk in, got all these different tables. You can't interact with the chairs, but... Oh, come back here. Didn't have anything else better for loot, for a loot box. But you could have that loot box to give you more ammo. So I killed all the bad guys. There was only 4 of them in here. Fired 25 shots. I hits made were 16. I can play again. Oh, what the hell? So it's counting my shots. I don't know why those guys are... That guy down there is not... Why are you a thing? Why are you not... Oh. It was out of range. That's why. So yeah, this is one of the projects that I was creating that, you know, started a video series on how to make all this stuff, and nobody really followed along, so I quit. What are you looking at? Die. Doing some pre-made blueprints for lighting and all kind of stuff. The main menu, settings menu, 1920 by 1080 or 720. So yeah, I mean, it all depends on what you want to do, but start small and work your way up. This was a single-player game. Yeah, check all the different videos out, and if you have questions, just drop them in the general channel of UE4. So I'm laid back. Whenever this is actually not what I was doing this video for, but when people ask questions, I'm not gonna say, oh well, you know what, you guys gotta shut up. This is only about this. No, screw that. You want help? Ask. If I don't know, I'll help you get in the right direction. And I don't know everything, but like I said, this project right here was something that I slapped together and was doing in a video, and nobody really cared, so I quit doing it. Had animation starter pack, custom assets, and that kind of stuff. It was kind of cool. I've got so many freaking projects that I start and don't finish. No worries. It's like this one right here, the 502 is a project that I would love to evolve into a game. That would be awesome. Like this one right here, the teleport system. Something that I'm working on that I still need to finish doing the replication on all the different stuff to it. But little functionality things like this right here. Come on, load up. There we go. Like a teleport system. One and select a viewport. I don't know why, but I added a camera system in here so you can actually... Yeah, I could see myself jumping on the screen. You may not be able to see them, it's really tiny. But a simple teleport that would teleport you from point A to point B is cool, right? But what about if you go into a first-person mode, and what if you could actually throw a teleporter out? And wherever it landed, you could teleport to it. So let's throw one over here in this corner. Now when I right click, I can teleport to that location. So with this one right here, I did a tutorial on this as well. So I throw this. No, I don't like where you're going. So I'll try it again. Nope, you didn't go where I wanted to go. I want you up there. Nope, didn't go up there. So you can sit there and just... Until it actually does the explosion animation, it won't actually be viable. There we go. So now it's up there, and now I can right-click, teleport, and I made it where I want to go. This was a feature that was in another game that I really loved that feature. And I wanted to make it work. So you can have a throwable teleporter, and these are just simple BSP geometries just to get the point across. But that was the point of that series. I mean, I do these series of videos, and, you know, I stop whenever I don't get enough viewers on them. Sit in a chair. But sitting in a chair was something that was a royal pain. Believe it or not. There was... and it was only because there was issues with the animations, and it was causing me and a couple of people that were looking at it trying to figure it out. It works great with UE4 mannequin, but whenever I change it over and start doing it with the Cindy characters, suddenly it just gets weird. I don't even remember what this one was. No, I was doing a simple pickup system. Why there's barrels here, I don't know. TNT barrels, huh? Oh, shit. They blew up and killed me. Yeah, those were just mines. But yeah, setting up little things like that was the TNT barrel and pickups. Oh, there's a loot bag. Figure out the little individual features first. I just picked up that. That's cool. Hey, look. What's with these TNT barrels? Oh, shit. So, pick a feature, do one feature, and go there. If you want, whenever I get done running my errands real quick and come back, I will set up another stream and we'll just totally spitball. Won't work on my other project. I'll just go over like, okay, this is a feature. What does it take to get that to work? And then how do you make it work in multiplayer and that kind of stuff. So give me about 30 minutes. Like I said, I got to run out, go get some stuff, come back. And then I will set up just a whatever stream if you want. Let me know on Discord if you do or don't. But if you say yes, then I will come back. I will do another stream just totally spitballing. I'll create a blank project with third-person character or what have you. Or with my simple multiplayer Steam template. Currently, I'm using the one from 420. It was a little bit more stable with some other things, but I need to upgrade it to 422. I was kind of waiting now until 423 hits. That's why I haven't updated yet. But what I'll do is I'll create a project. I'm going to do it right now. Just going to right-click on it. I never opened this project at all. This has never been opened by me. I'm going to right-click, select clone, call it Spitball, whatever. Or, yeah, whatever. I just call it Spitball. And make sure that it's going to my usual folder here. Then I'm going to hit create and then continue. And it's going to create the project. And whenever it's done, it'll put it in here. The other thing that I'll do is I'll go into my Windows Explorer or File Explorer and Unreal Projects. It's already created. So do that. And here it is, Spitball. Although it may not be necessary, I always go right here in the root folder and I delete the saved folder. I don't know why, but I just do that. Plugins contains the advanced session so that it'll work. But yeah, there's going to be nothing basically in the content. So now if I come in here and go to the Spitball, open up that project, I'll leave this project open, and then whenever I come back, I will pick up on the stream and go right from here. So for those who have my simple multiplayer Steam template, this is what comes right out the get-go. And I sell it for $20. As like I said, the only money I make is from selling this. I don't work, can't work. So with it here, you always have to make sure that if you're playing this, then you need to have Steam running in the background. So what I'll do here is hit the arrow here, play in standalone game. It's going to open up a new window, and it's going to be just like playing it in a standalone game. Because I use escape key for going back to the main menu, so you can see I got Steam username and avatar is shown here. Access Steam community. This is like if you just bought it, and this is what you get. You can play a single player, and boom, it goes right into a single player whatever map. And I was starting to put the key bindings up there on the wall. Hit escape, go back to the main menu. Multiplayer. If you want to find somebody else's game, you click find, and you hit find lobby. It's going to search, and if anybody else has your game, then you'll find them. Occasionally you find some false ones because it's using a Steam app ID as a developer app ID. So it's going to look like in Steam that you're playing the game Space War. That's because until you pay $100 to Steam to have your game on Steam, you don't have your own developer app ID. Cool. Yeah, I accept PayPal on that. It's directly from me. I can't put it on the marketplace because it uses third-party plugins, which come from a very reputable source. So, but if you want to host your own game, just click on host. You can type in whatever you want for your name. Whenever you hit make, it's going to automatically just launch you into the game. And anybody else who wants to find your game, they're going to have that name pop up in the list then, and they can select it, and there'll be a join button, and they click on the join button, and then it works. Well, I mean, this is just what you get. I mean, there's no maps, there's no other thing else. You hit escape, you can go back to the main menu, or hit resume game, and the exit game button works. You can style the menu however you want. Hit escape. All that's in the main menu widget. You can style that however you like. But the one thing I always do when I open up a new project is because Unreal Engine 4 is too stupid to remember it. And it doesn't matter if I save it, set as default, whatever else. I always change Asset Editor Open Location to main window. And I always turn off Enable Autosave. 2 reasons. Okay? There's a Save All button. Hit it. Use it. Live it. Love it. Remember it. You are the only one that's responsible for saving your content. If you perform 1,500 different cool new things and you don't hit Save All, and something happens and you lose all that, that's your fault. Save All is there. Use it. When you're actually in a blueprint and you're making changes, see that? Save. Doesn't cost anything. You can hit as many times as you damn like. Save. You create something new and do something cool or whatever. Save. Compile and save. Those 2 buttons right there will never hurt your feelings because they will prevent you from getting burned. There's also the Control Z. If you screw something up, you can Control Z and undo. And if you come in here and print text and I love monkeys and decide you don't, damn, I don't really want that in here, but I've already hit compile and save. Damn it. Control Z, and there it's gone. You can undo. Then compile and save again. Yeah, it's like the view change thing for changing your views for your cameras. Yeah, any of that crap you want to see like this, let me know. So I'm going to go ahead and kick on out of here. I will be available here again really shortly. And I will pick up on this, since that's what you're asking about is a multiplayer project. And even though you want an MMORPG where you want 10,000 players running around and doing kind of all that kind of cool stuff, start small. Little things like, and I'll add it in right now, that Polygon City from Cindy Studios. If you get it from here, from the marketplace, yeah, but you know what I'm saying. You can actually set that with my Simple Multiplayer Steam template. You can set the max number of players per individual server. And by doing this, the host server thing, whoever's hosting, you're using their internet connection for the server host. So we're going to grab that Polygon City, and I'm going to add that in here. So we'll have a nice little town to run around in. So add to project. What are you doing? Polygons. No, that's Sci-Fi City. That's a different project. Never mind. Where the hell did you go? So if you get it from the marketplace versus their website, oh, check out a lot of their projects from the website. But if you get it from here, all you do is add to project, and the regular town. I got that one from. I didn't get it from the marketplace. I got it from their store. So when you got assets like that from their store, let's see here, data folder, City Studios, Polygon, latest version, July, town. I think I said it. When you get it from their store, you're going to get the source files, the Unity, and the Unreal versions. I'm all using the Unreal versions. So this is the latest versions as of July. Polygon Town. I'm going to scroll down to their content folder, and there we see Polygon Town. So inside the content folder, that's that. Now I'm going to scroll back up. This is my folder for the Spitball. See, I've got a content folder here. So all I'm going to do with that is right click, drag, drop it into the content folder, and copy here. 134 megs, no biggie. All right. So there we go. Polygon Town. Not materials, maps. So this is what we'll use. Retargeting characters from UE4 to City Studios. I've shown it in 100 videos, but I'll show it again. But not now. I will show it whenever I get back, because I do have to go. And part of the reason why I've got to go, terrible, terrible reason, is out of cigarettes. If you smoke, stop. If you don't smoke, never start. Trust me. Alright, so there's our Polygon Town. And one thing we do need is a player start. So I'll drop you in here. Set the game mode override to third person game mode. And change this to selected viewport. And now we can walk around. But I will cover the basics of getting started with something like this, getting the player character switched over, and start adding some interaction features in. Don't try to do everything all at one time. Start small, work towards that. We'll do a save all, save selected, and we'll call it for now. So we're 42 minutes over on this video, and I'm jonesing right now, so I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to run to the store, get my errands run, and I will be back really, really shortly. That's not a problem. Just give me a chance to run out, come back. I'll start up the video, and you jump in there and you ask questions. You ask questions right there, and I will do my very best to answer them. Sound cool? So I will be back really shortly. Take care of my business, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, like I said, I'll be back in 30 minutes. Hopefully 30 minutes, as long as I don't run into or over anything. And if I do, I'll carry my 1911. So if I run over anybody, I'll just shoot them, put them out of my misery. But yeah, I'll come back in about 30 minutes, and I will just pick up with this project right where we are and start adding some functionality in. And after we get done, I'll show how I actually will package it up so it's playable, and I'll actually upload the damn thing, and we can play the damn thing. How about that? So, see you in a little bit. It is 1 o'clock in the morning right now for my time, so 30 minutes sounds about right. We'll see you then. I love you guys, and not just when it's cold. Maybe when I get drunk, though, and lonely. Yeah, anyway, we'll see you in a little bit.